Welcome back to my channel for another video. So here we are, the first video in the new house. So I moved into a house last week. It's a beautiful 4-bedroom, 3-story townhouse in the city. I feel very grateful to be living in such a big house, but at the same time I've worked hard for it. So maybe give you a small little tour of some of the house. I can't be showing you all the house, do you know what I mean? I can't be doing that, I've got to have some kind of privacy. But yeah, so listen, I've always spoke about diversification, and I've always said when I personally speak about diversification, I'm talking about the same kind of instruments, because I do only trade the same instruments, but it's looking at different times that you can maximize on the potential. So in this instance, it was actually coming up to the European Open, but funny enough, I usually trade the FTSE 100 around about that time, but I just happened to look at the Dow Jones and I seen a really good opportunity. So there was a lovely rally, and I decided to short that pullback. And I've said before, it's the historical data. History repeats itself time and time again in the stock market. It continues to do, and it always will. So, almost 390 odd pounds pre-market, which is a great way to start your day. Nice little way to start your day, and then obviously it goes on and you trade the open, etc. But again, it's interesting because, depending on what part of the world you're in, maybe you don't have access to the FTSE 100, but you can still trade the Dow on the European Open. Maybe you have to trade mini contracts as opposed to your standard contracts. So again, it's another thing to think about, isn't it? It's all about maximizing your potential as a trader. And so, as usual guys, before we crack on with the video, make sure that you smash that like button, make sure that you subscribe to my channel for more videos like this. And again, if you want to contact me, you can contact me on my Instagram, and that's sambora.00. I'll give you a very small tour of one part of the house, and yeah, I hope you guys get some kind of motivation from this. I've moved up, I've moved on, I've upgraded, and this is what it's all about. And I wouldn't be able to do this if I wasn't a trader. Okay, so hope you enjoyed this week's video. Okay, so here we go. So this is 234 contracts on the Dow Jones. So this is actually pre-market on the European Open, so just over an hour to the European Open. Now the reason that I'm trading the Dow Jones on the European Open was literally because I opened up my brokerage account, and because I'd been trading the US close the previous day, and I just happened to open my broker's account and have a look at the Dow Jones, and I'd seen there'd been a rally for a prolonged period of time. So, after the rally, there has to be some form of a pullback. So usually, the last hour just before the open, i.e. the last hour of pre-market, you do have some kind of reversal in that hour in terms of the previous ground that was taken and the direction. So I've seen this as a good opportunity to take a short position, which I did. And again, this is something that I do look at. I am basically about 6 a.m. every morning, so I do get a chance to look at a pre-market, and I only take these pre-market positions if the setup is correct. Okay, so in this instance, the setup was correct, and if you have a look at the amount of space that was created, basically in the last kind of hour and a half, it's a significant amount of points that were taken. So it has to give it back at some stage. So I'm going to hold this, and this is almost like this is not a scalp position, this is an intraday swing approach. So I'm looking to probably hold this for 15 minutes, maybe half an hour max, get out and then wait for the actual European Open where I will trade the FTSE 100. But again, it's another demonstration of the flexibility and diversification of trading futures and indices, because even if you can't trade the FTSE 100, just say you're based in the US, well, you could still trade the Dow Jones on the European Open, even if it's mini contracts. So you still have that diversification in terms of your approach to trading the stock market. So what I'm looking at here is, it's not gonna give back, a huge amount of space, but it's gonna give back something. It has to give back something, because look at the space that I'd already taken. So this is how the stock market works. It cannot continue to rally forever. After the rally, there has to be some kind of a pullback. That's just the way the stock market works. So again, I only take these opportunities when the setup is correct. So I'm probably looking at, in terms of the contract size that I'm trading here, I'm probably looking at about between a £400 and £500 profit, and I know that after that I will just be pushing my luck. And I just know that historically, you get to know the contracts that you're trading and what you're looking for, and it's not even about the number of points anymore. So it's starting to slow down there a little bit, but I think I can get a little bit more out of this. And all of these movements, they tell me something. They tell me what's happening. Whether it's buyers coming in, liquidating, sellers coming in, liquidating. I mean, the likes of these mini pullbacks, that'll be sellers liquidating their position, which will cause the price to temporarily pull back, and then it'll drop back down again. But it'll only do that so much, especially now, because now it's only 50 minutes to the European Open. And what will happen is this will drop down to a certain point and it'll reverse and it'll go back up again. Okay, because it doesn't go across in a straight line, and it doesn't go up and down in a straight line either. Okay, and you get to know the movements. But it's certainly been a while since I've traded the Dow Jones on the European Open. It's not something that I usually do. But again, you've got to look for these opportunities. Don't just wait for the actual Open itself. You've got to look for these opportunities. And again, I only take these opportunities when the setup is correct. I don't randomly go in and do it. Only when the setup is correct. That's the only time I'll do that. Okay, and this is something that I'm trying to now push on to my students as well, because when they first came on board, I wasn't too keen for them to trade the pre-market, because I wanted them to basically just concentrate on the Open. But as you become more experienced and you spend more time in the stock market, you can look at these opportunities pre-market, and a lot of these pre-market positions, I end up doing very well, very, very well. So again, it's something that I look for, especially on the European Open. I don't take them a lot pre-market on the US Open, because the setup just doesn't seem to be the same. You don't get the same kind of opportunity, but certainly on the European Open, you do get these opportunities. So it's starting to push down again, pushing down through them support levels. It wants to perform more of these bearish movements, but then it's been pushed back up again. So I probably won't hold this too much longer, to be perfectly honest with you. But you can see there, it's trying to push down again, and I'll just wait and I'll watch. And you can't get greedy. You've got to take what's on the table. So if I see that it's starting to reverse, or it's slowing down too much, or I think enough space has already been given back that was previously taken, I'll just liquidate, get out, and wait for the Open. So probably won't hold this for too much longer, because I'm kind of starting to push my luck. Now you can see there's a bit of a reversal there, so let's just see what happens with this reversal. If the reversal continues to go up, look, I'll just take it. And even if I come out with 150, because I don't want to hold on too long, but hopefully it'll continue down through these bearish movements a little bit more just before I liquidate. So I'm hoping to get a little bit more out of this. So and it's because it's pre-market as well, the volume is not there, so it's a lot slower in a lot of cases. You don't have the same volatility as you do on the actual Open, because that's where the initial influx of volume comes in. So this is kind of slow. It does give you more time to think about what you're going to do, to analyze your position, etc. And yeah, it is a good way for anybody that is struggling to trade the Opens because of your full-time job. It is a good way
to know that you can get in and trade the pre-market, so you don't have to wait for the open, you know, especially with futures, because futures is open basically 23 hours a day, Monday to Friday. So let's have a look now. I'm probably going to take this pretty soon, to be fair. I'm starting to push my luck here. Yeah, it's starting to find support there again, major support, so I'm just going to take that. So decent return.
So there you have it, guys. 390 odd pound on the Dow Jones pre-market on the European Open. Might be a little bit confusing for some people, but you know, the main message that I want to get across on this week's video is that trading futures and trading indices really does provide you with many opportunities, and this is why I only trade futures and indices and have done for a long time now, because you can literally trade 23 hours a day if you see, you know, the potential for a decent entry. So that's the biggest thing that I want anybody that is watching this video to take away from this video, is that you can really utilize these instruments to their full potential. And that's the great thing about trading futures and indices. And you know, in my community, in my financial community, the Sambora team, that's all we trade. You know, you might get 1% of the team that trade stocks, but the rest of us are trading futures and indices. And it's for this reason, you know, the flexibility and diversity that it provides. You know, it's the way forward. I've said it before, futures is definitely the way forward. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video and the small little tour of one part of my house, and I'll see you again next week for another video.